So, you've uploaded your video, you've got a title, you've got a thumbnail, now what? Most creators think they're done. They upload and move on. They never touch the title or thumbnail again. This is a massive mistake. The creators who grow are the ones who test constantly. They change titles, they change thumbnails, they track what works, they iterate. And here's the thing, YouTube actually makes this easy. You can change your title and thumbnail without re-uploading the video. You don't have to render anything again. You don't have to do anything complicated. You just click edit, change the title or thumbnail, and YouTube pushes it live. So why aren't more creators testing? I think it's because they don't know what to test or how to measure it. They think testing is complicated. It's not. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to test titles and thumbnails systematically. I'm going to show you how to track data. I'm going to show you how to know what's winning, and I'm going to show you real examples of how small improvements compound into massive growth. Let's start with the most important principle. Test one variable at a time. This is where most creators go wrong. They change the title and the thumbnail simultaneously. Then they check CTR a few days later and it went up. But they don't know which one caused the improvement. Was it the title? Was it the thumbnail? They don't know, so they can't repeat it. Testing one variable at a time means you know exactly what works. Here's the process. First, video uploads with title version 1 and thumbnail version 1. You monitor the click-through rate. Let's say you get 3.5% CTR. 3.5% is actually pretty good for a brand new channel, but it's not great. So you go to YouTube Studio, you find that video, you click edit, you change the title to version 2, you keep the thumbnail exactly the same. You monitor for another 2 days. The new title gets 4.8% CTR. That's a 1.3 point increase. That's a 37% improvement. The new title is winning, so you keep that title. Now the thumbnail, you change the thumbnail to version 2. Same title, different thumbnail, you monitor. 5.2% CTR. That's another improvement. Now you know, the new title works, the new thumbnail works. You can do this again with the next video and expect similar results. But if you'd change both at the same time, you wouldn't know which one was working. You'd get lucky sometimes, you'd fail other times, you wouldn't understand the principles. So the process is simple. Test one thing at a time. But what should you test first? I recommend testing titles first. Why? Because titles are easier to test. You can change a title in 30 seconds. You don't need any design skills. You don't need any tools. You just type in YouTube Studio and you're done. Thumbnails take more work. You need design skills or you need a tool. You need to export the new thumbnail, so test titles first, get those locked down, then optimize thumbnails. When you're testing titles, you're looking at one metric, click-through rate, CTR, that's your primary signal. How much of your channel's traffic actually clicked on your video? If 100 people saw your thumbnail and title in their feed, how many clicked? If 20 clicked, that's 20% CTR. If 5 clicked, that's 5%. For context, most channels are between 2 and 4% CTR. Successful channels are 5% and up. Really successful channels are 7, 8, 9%. The way to measure CTR is straightforward. Go to YouTube Studio, click Analytics, look at the Traffic Sources report. It shows you impressions and clicks. Divide clicks by impressions and multiply by 100. That's your CTR percentage. YouTube also shows you average CTR right on the dashboard. So you don't even have to do the math. YouTube does it for you. Now let's talk about timeline. How long do you let each version run before switching? This is important. If you switch too fast, you don't have enough data. If you switch too slow, you're leaving growth on the table. Here's my recommendation. If your video has less than 500 views, wait 2 to 3 days before changing the title or thumbnail. You need some data volume before you can make conclusions. If your video has 500 to 1,000 views, wait 1 to 2 days. You're getting better data density now. If your video has 1,000 or more views, you can change after 24 hours. You have enough data to make informed decisions. The reason is statistical significance. If your video only got 50 views, the difference between 3.5% CTR and 4.5% is just 1 or 2 extra clicks. That could be random. That could be statistical noise. But if your video got 1,000 views, the difference between 3.5% and 4.5% is 3.5 to 4.5 clicks. That's like 35 versus 45 extra clicks. That's a real difference. So you need enough volume to see patterns. Less than 500 views is too small. At least 500, preferably 1,000. Now let's talk about how many variations you should test. You might be tempted to test 10 different titles, 10 different thumbnails, every idea you have. But this gets complicated fast. I recommend testing 3 variations per element. Test title version 1, it gets 3.5% CTR. Test title version 2, it gets 4.2%. Better, keep it. Test title version 3, it gets 3.8%. Not as good as version 2. Now you know version 2 is winning, you keep it. Same with thumbnails. 3 versions max, pick the winner, move on. Why 3? Because 3 is enough to find a winner, but 3 is manageable. Now let's talk about what you're actually testing when it comes to titles. Different elements move the needle. Words matter, numbers matter, curiosity gaps matter, titles that make you wonder get more clicks. YouTube tutorial gets 2%. I failed at YouTube 3 times. Here's what I learned gets 6%. That second title makes you curious. What did they learn? You click to find out. Now let's talk about thumbnails. Testing thumbnails is similar but different. Colors matter a lot. Bright orange might get 5% CTR, muted blue might get 3%, expressions matter. Surprised expressions get more clicks than neutral expressions. Focal point matters. Text matters. When you're testing thumbnails, you're testing these elements. You're changing colors. You're changing expressions. You're testing text versus no text. Let me show you a real example of how this works. I analyzed a successful channel that was testing consistently. They started with How to Grow YouTube at 3%. They changed the title to How to Grow YouTube Without Showing Your Face and hit 4.5%. Then they changed the thumbnail to a surprised expression on an orange background and hit 6.2%. Finally, they hit 6.8% by adjusting text positioning. By testing methodically, they went from 3% CTR to 6.8%. That's more than double. Across 100 videos per year, that's massive compounding growth. Now here's something important. You should document what works. Keep a spreadsheet. The title, the thumbnail, the CTR, the date. Over time, you'll see patterns. Once you identify these patterns, you start building a formula. This formula becomes your competitive advantage. Let me talk about testing both title and thumbnail simultaneously. Can you test both at the same time? Yes, but it's more complex. Day 1, upload with V1. Day 2, change the thumbnail only. Now you know the thumbnail's impact. Day 4, change the title only. Now you know the title's impact. This way you're testing both, but you're still isolating variables. It's faster than separate testing. Let me address the psychology of testing. Testing can feel like failure. You change the title and it performs worse. It feels like you made a bad decision, but that's not how to think about it. Testing is learning. Even when a version performs worse, you learn that version doesn't work. Successful creators expect this. The goal is to find the ones that perform better. Don't be discouraged. You're getting closer to your formula. Let me talk about compounding. A 10% improvement in CTR doesn't seem like much, but think about what that means. If you're getting 100 views a day at 3.5%, that's 105 clicks a month. At 3.85%, that's 115 clicks. One video, 10 extra clicks. Now scale that to 30 videos. 300 extra clicks, and YouTube's algorithm sees those clicks. That's a signal. You get more views, more subscribers. That's compounding. I want to give you a framework for deciding when you're done. I call it the 3-change rule. You test 3 variations, 1 wins. You commit to that version for the next 10 videos. Why? Because you need to move forward. You use similar words and structure. Then after 10 videos, you test 3 new variations of that winning formula. This way you're always testing, but you're also applying your learnings at scale. Should you test on brand new videos or old videos? Both. Test new videos as they release to inform your formula. But test old videos too. If you have videos from 6 months ago with low CTR, change the title and thumbnail now. This is like finding free growth. You're optimizing old content and it starts getting new views. Be honest about what's working. If your favorite design gets 3% but the ugly one gets 4.5%, the data wins. Let me summarize. Test one variable. Titles first. Use CTR. Wait for data. Test 3 variations. Document results. Follow the data, not your intuition. Small improvements compound. This is testing that actually works. Data-driven iteration. The creators who implement this become unstoppable. Start testing, change one thing, track data, keep the winner, repeat. That's how you grow. Thanks for watching. Up next is hack number 10.